What's up, y'all? It's Sullivan Grace, and today we have a special edition of Empowered and Prepared. Today, you'll hear from 3 of Chicago's own accomplished, highly professional media mavens about their experiences in the film industry. These remarkable women all drop gems about their journey, and for anyone who aspires to excel not only in the film industry, but in whatever industry you're in, the steps to succeeding remain the same. Have grit, have determination, and keep trying until you've accomplished your goals. I'm excited, and you should be too. Without further ado, let's hop right into the episode. What's up, everybody? It's Sullivan Grace back with another episode of Empowered and Prepared, which is a visual podcast dedicated to inspiring young people just like you to show up and be your very best self. And today we are hosting a very special guest, Miss Crystal Luster. You probably follow her on TikTok. She has almost 1 million followers on TikTok, guys. She has almost 100 million likes on TikTok. She probably has shown up on your timeline. You probably laugh at her jokes. You've probably seen her on the TV set. She has her own production company called Crystal Clear Productions, and she's just very accomplished. So we're very grateful to host you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So
have you introduce me everywhere, girl. I sound important.
Yeah, no, you're accomplished. So we got to get her on the show.
Thank you.
We're ready for these gems that you're about to drop. So we want to get a little bit more into your background first. Okay. So I was doing my research, and I know that you come from the Luster family.
Never heard of them. I'm just kidding. Yes, I do.
Yes. So just tell us a little bit more about what it was like to grow up in that family. But first, let me introduce what Luster hair products are. If you watch, I hope you know what Luster products are, y'all. Yes. Come on now. Y'all have heard of that pink lotion.
It's a household staple. The smell is very nostalgic.
Yes.
So yes, growing up in the Luster family is interesting. It comes with pressure, but it also comes with prestige. That was pretty good. I'm gonna have to use that again.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, so Luster products, everybody is really familiar, especially in Chicago. My Uncle Freddie, my dad's oldest brother, started Luster products back in the 60s. And my dad was the first S-Curl man. So, grew up, well, I wasn't around then, but, that was kind of the introduction to our family into the beauty industry. And then in the 80s, my parents started their own company, Essations Incorporated, which me and my siblings now own.
Wow.
So we're also in the hair care industry as well. We manufacture Essations and Naked by Essations products, and we do some private labeling. And so growing up in the beauty industry, I grew up in a manufacturing plant. Literally 3 weeks after I was born, my mom had my crib in the manufacturing plant. I didn't have summer break. I didn't have spring break. I had work. Wow. Okay, I left school. I went to work. So I've had a job for as long as I can remember. It taught me a lot of discipline. Mm-hmm. It taught me how to be a self-starter. I've had a couple jobs here and there, but for the most part, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life.
Wow.
It's all I've ever known, all I've ever seen. And there are pros and cons to it, of course, but I'm built for it.
So I always knew I wanted to do media. I just didn't know what that looked like. I knew I had a passion for filmmaking, but I never done filmmaking before. I never picked up the camera. So when I was 14, I joined True Star. That was my freshman year. In high school, I was just like, I just want to learn media, anything media related. At first, I really wanted to be a model. So at first, I started off doing digital media with True Star. And with that program, they taught us how to just build websites, how to get photography, how to go out and pitch yourself and just like promote yourself online. Because this is when, oh my God, this is when social media was really becoming a thing.
Yes, it was new.
Oh my, we're gonna be old. Like, that's crazy.
Don't claim it.
So originally, I wanted to model. I did that program, and I remember completing it for that summer. Mm-hmm. And Trig and I remember Nate were like, "Nah, we need you and your energy on street team." Because I had a lot of energy, y'all. I'm from the east side of Chicago, so like coming from the east side and joining these programs, I had this rambunctious type of personality. I was like a ball of fire. So I'm like, yeah, let me do street team. I'm about to go around and y'all paying me to go in the west side, the north side, and meeting different people just to talk about True Star. So from there, I learned the power of like street team and just hustling, like the flyers, the magazines, the promotion, like the word of mouth. That goes further than anything when it comes to like just public media. After that, started modeling with True Star. After I started modeling with True Star, I was like, okay, it's fun and I'll be in front of the camera. I want to do more behind the camera, behind the lens. So that's when I discovered I like talking, and they ended up getting me to do 3 different radio shows with True Star. And we were, one of them was through iHeartRadio, I remember WCSU. Another one was through Urban Broadcast Media. And it got to the point where by the time I was like 18, I was a journalist. I was interviewing celebrities. I was already like getting my portfolio together as a model. And I already had a radio show. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this.
So I feel like my journey first started when I was 9. So I got into a film program called Visions Blue. And my dad introduced me to that, so I got more into like film, and then 12 got into more like journalism and stuff. And then I realized that I could actually just like capture stuff for fun. Not realizing that I wanted to actually formally turn into a business. It's a fashion show that I produced. And so when I was capturing the fashion show, behind the scene content, I realized over time, like, oh, okay, like this could actually be something. Like, what could this be? And literally the behind the scene recap of that fashion show video was the launch of Jewel in Focus, where I put it all together and I was like, hey, parents, I want to do something with this. Like, I don't want to just create content and not have a name behind it. My name is Jewel, so Jewel in Focus. My shots were always crisp at the time. They're crisper now, but at the time I thought I was doing the thing. And so it just slowly got into what it became, Jewel in Focus, and the rest is history.
I started editing and started picking up cameras, which I've always loved cameras since I was a kid. So I started picking up cameras, learning how to shoot, how to edit, and I got good at it for us. I started doing it for myself, and then eventually other people started asking me, can you shoot content for me? And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna just make it official. And in 2018, I organized officially Crystal Clear Productions, LLC.
During 2020, I got my LLC officially. So in the midst of all of this, while I was in high school, I remember by the time I was 16, I came across a program. It was, they don't even have it anymore, which is crazy. So I'm a CPS baby, Chicago Public Schools. And they had a program called Advanced Arts through Gallery 37. So although True Star had everything journalism and just like media related, they didn't have filmmaking. So I'm like, okay, this will also give me the opportunity to just learn and meet other people in different areas. So I joined this program. I had to audition and show them all my like work previously and basically convince them to allow me to like join this program. I think it was 6 of us in the classroom, and we had to just learn how to make movies. And what I loved about it is I would go to South Shore. So my day to day, I would take the 75th Street bus to South Shore High School. I would get out of school at like 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then I would take the J14 downtown to get to my school. And that is when I would just do my arts for like 2 to 3 hours a day. And my art was video production. So I was just learning how to make movies. 1 month we'll have different genres. So 1 month in particular, it was a documentary, and I had to put together a documentary. And for my project, I was also an activist. Like, I am always been an activist, an advocate for certain things that's happening in our community. So I was a part of Black Lives Matter. And this is before it was like a big thing. And I remember just like being real active and just like wanted to show people what it is that we did. So I did my documentary about just all the Black youth in Chicago at the time. And I called it Black Shy Youth. And I wanted to showcase all the dope things that we were doing during that time, because this is also when the drill movement was like real heavy. People was talking bad about Chicago. I'm like, nah. So with this documentary, I just did it as a class project. My teacher straight up was like, no, Kayla, you need to submit this to the Chicago International Film Festival, Cine Youth. And I'm not thinking nothing of it. Me and my classmates, all of us submitted to Cine Youth. And I was the only one chosen. And I did, a South Side, East Side girl. I didn't know filmmaking was a world. I didn't know this was an outlet. I didn't realize the magnitude of that opportunity. And next you know, the doors started to unlock.
So fast forward from 2020, you started your company to now. You've obviously, like you said, opened a lot of doors with your craft. So there was a moment during the XL Film Festival that Lisa Beasley, aka Corporate Erin, you probably know her on social media. She is just really funny. She has this character that she shows up and she mocks corporate people, and she's got a lot of attention from that. And she shouted you out.
Yeah.
During her panel, she was like, you know, I got somebody that's ready to work. You know,
I'm ready.
She's ready to do my videography. She's ready to make my content more professional, because up until then she had just been doing everything on her phone.
I still got to work with her. We in the mix of it, but that was a dope experience right there.
Yeah, and it really stuck out to me because that showed me that you put yourself out there to actually, for her to say your name and shout you out from the panel.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, what does it take for you to really put yourself out there as an entrepreneur?
For me personally, it goes back to that hustle of like closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't speak up and say what it is that you want to do, you're not going to get that opportunity. Like, it goes back to like my days at True Start, being an advocate for myself and being very vocal and being an activist and just being like, this is what I want, this is how I feel, and I can't do otherwise. Because if you expect me to show up and do something else, it's just not going to fold because my heart not in it. So if I'm in a space and I know exactly what it is that I want, I try to figure out who is in that room that can help me bring that to life.
That's good.
Or if I'm in that room and I just don't know that, I try to get to learn who's in that room and figure out, okay, how can I get to know you? How can we pat each other on the back? How can we both win and succeed? I know the term network up, but it's good to network within. And yeah, you got to advocate for yourself. And also, too, I don't really talk about it, but I'm a part of the 1% of Black female cinematographers to exist in the country. So I'm rare in itself.
So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to be an actor, who wants to be a content creator, who wants to be a director, who wants to work in a creative space, but they don't know where to start or they don't believe in themselves? What would you say to that person?
Volunteering and serving goes a long way. Whenever I meet someone I want to work with who is doing something that I want to do, especially if they have a skill set that I have not yet tapped into, my first question is, how can I serve you? That goes a long way. I think a lot of times, especially this next generation, listen, I love this next generation. This next generation be coming in like, how much you gonna pay me?
Okay.
Now, whoa. Okay, little sis, calm down.
Right.
Okay, because the impression that you leave on people when they know you're serious, you know you're serious about something when you do it for free.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I knew that I was an actor. Now, technically, did I get paid for that? I got paid $75. And at the time, gas was like $5 a gallon. So that went all to the tank.
Right.
But I knew that I was serious about acting when I was on the first short film I got booked in. I stood in a swamp for 3 hours.
Wow.
And if you know anything about me, Chris don't like swamps. Chris don't like to be in anything dirty. Never have, never will, you know?
A swamp.
But it was for the production. And I was like, I'm gonna do it for the cause, you know?
Yeah.
And then the next day I stood in the sun for 3 hours. Talk about a raisin in the sun. My legs looked like raisins, you know? I was so sunburned that my skin actually cracked open. I saw the white meat. I was, wow. I looked like I was just a rotisserie chicken just left. But not the one, you know, at the grocery store, the one that, like them hot dogs that be at 7-Eleven for 8 business days, just rotating. I was like, wow, this is dedication. But I did it for the production.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, there are countless times that I have worked for free because I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And you develop that relationship. This business is about networking.
Yes,
it's about your relationships.
Yeah.
90% of it is. Now, don't get me wrong, because I got the talent to back it up. You're not going to just catch Chris off guard. I could do the work.
Right.
But it's relationships, fostering those relationships, showing people that you care about the production.
Yeah.
So I would volunteer, collaborate. You know, see, if you want to get into it, the first film that I ever created, a director friend of mine, Brianna, she goes by Brianna Clearly. She is also the first director, writer who booked me for a short film, Blood Sisters, but it's spelled differently. She was taking a class at DePaul, and it was beautiful. It's amazing. She's a wonderful creative. And she put out a challenge. She was like, okay, I'm gonna challenge everybody to write a short film, and your budget is $0, so you have to either borrow or barter. 2 subjects. Everybody has to use these 3 lines of dialogue, and you have to do it in 2 weeks. And I entered. I've never been to film school. Okay, when I was at Columbia, I didn't take any film classes. I didn't know I wanted to be an actor at the time. So I just I'm gonna do it. And I didn't know what I was doing at all. And the film, the quality of it, the sound quality was terrible because I forgot my mics at home. But people liked it. They were like, where's part 2? I left them on a cliffhanger. They were trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
And I think, I collaborated with another actor who needed some more work. And it was fun. I learned a lot, and I love that I learned filmmaking.
Yeah.
And so I learned that I love filmmaking. And I would recommend definitely collaborate, serve, but don't get into a space where you always doing stuff for free too. You build, you grow, you know your worth. But if you're just starting out, volunteer, or if you want to be a PA, especially here in Chicago, Chicago has the Chicago Film Office is dedicated to programming that will help you get into the industry. And so you start off as a PA. I've worked behind the scenes a lot. And so I've been craft services, I've been COVID compliance, I've been a PA in different departments, I've done first AD, I've done casting, I've done a stand-in, I work behind the camera because it helps me understand how to be in front of the camera a lot more.
What words of advice would you give to them?
Oh, I mean, I personally would say it starts small. So like, you realize, okay, I want to do this. I want to go. Now I'm free. I don't have classes no more. I want to travel. I want to do this. Like, we can all create a good 20 goals right now that we're like, hey, this is all I want to do.
Right.
So I would recommend write out your goals. Write out everything, just brain dump. Because that's always helped me with journaling. Just brain dump.
Yes.
Write down all the things that you want to do. Then really circle back and realize, okay, let me tackle at least one thing per month, or let me do this one thing for the next 3 months. And I think realizing that we don't have to accomplish everything all at once, but we can still do it all.
Right.
I think it's definitely like one of the things I would say. So brain dump, journal it down, highlight which things you really want to focus on first. I think also just believe in yourself. I think it's just a matter of just making sure that you trust yourself, you know what you want to do. Just, you have to find the time to make it happen. Look at your schedules. I'm always using Google Calendar, planning out my time. So really even just schedule your hobbies, which sounds weird, but it's like, hey, you will schedule to go to an event. So schedule to do yoga, do your hobbies, and really just put it down. And I think over time you'll realize, it's always the words I've heard of, after 21 days, it turns into a habit. So take the first 21 days, maybe once a week, to really lock in on your habit. And then over time, you'll see it explore, and then choose the next one.
So a lot of times when we're in college, we experience people telling us, make sure you make money with the major that you choose. How are you gonna monetize your talents after college? What type of comments did you get from people when you told them that you were going to Columbia?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like from family, it was definitely encouraging. They all knew I've been on this creative journey, so they kind of expected that.
Right.
I guess from like outside society, even from professors, once I got to Columbia, it was like, oh, I hope everyone's fully aware of the industry that you're going into. And of course, as a Black woman, that's also discouraging because it's not many of us. So being one of the few was like, okay, I really want to make my mark. So I felt like it was a little bit of both. I think the only way that I got through it though was my family encouraging me and them pushing me and them knowing like, okay, you've been doing this since you were young. Let's keep it going. But it wasn't discouraging at times, but I think I was able to just kind of push through and just ignore everybody else.
So, and it's a journey. It's something that still to this day, people will always have opinions. People will always have feedback. They will always tell you about you, but it's something that you have to find within. It didn't take for me until like my senior year of high school where I was like, no, I'm good when it comes to being a videographer, cinematographer, because those are two different things. But either way, if I get put in this position, I know I can handle it well. I'm a woman who wears many hats, and not many people know how to compute that. They in their head, they like, nah, you gotta stick to one thing and one thing only. You can't be good at everything and da 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 da. But for me, I just knew like over time, if people are constantly coming back to me, that means they rock with my work. If I'm constantly getting booked, that means they rock with me and they value me. So I'm like, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. And I feel like the more you listen to the outsiders, the more you limit yourself. But True Star put the fire under my feet. They taught me you could do whatever it is you wanna do. This week I'm a journalist. This week I'm doing radio. That week I'm modeling. Like, if I could do it then, I could do it now. And that's another reason why I started my production company, is because most of the time when I show people like my video work, they like, oh, where you at in the video? I'm like, baby, I recorded this. I put it together. This is my visual. So in spaces like that, a lot of the times people are looking for a woman like me to be on their production, but they don't know unless I open up and be like, hey, I'm Kayla Sullers, here's my elevator pitch, work with me. And they like, all right, let's talk. I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, and you need that hustle as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So you talked about challenges that you faced and people saying that you can't do everything.
Yeah.
And feeling like, you just can't let the outside noise get to you. How do you overcome people that are doubting you and stick to your plan that you have for yourself?
Honestly, it's a day-by-day process. I go to therapy. I try to do a lot of self-care journeys. I try to just focus on me, simply because these people weren't around with me 10 years ago. It was just me and my parents, trying to figure it out and hustle and get where I'm at. And I feel like if you listen to a lot of outsiders, they're going to change the narrative of who you are. And you can't allow that outside influence to dictate you and who you are as an individual. I'm so secure with myself. I know I'm one of a kind. I know you will never come across another Kayla Simone Sullers. I just know that. So when I step in rooms, I try to stand on that. And don't get me wrong, I listen. I give everybody the opportunity to have your piece. What's your input? What's your opinion? Since you want to get it off so bad, and then I'll take it. I'll take it with a grain of salt. If it's something that is constructive criticism, I'll take it. I'll apply it. If not, bump you. I'm not gonna deal with that. I wake up every day and I do what I think is best for me. If I don't feel good, if my gut feeling is just like, Kayla, don't do it, or don't trust them, or just watch out, I follow that.
You're with yourself the most, 24/7. You're the only person that you're with. You live with yourself. You see everything from your perspective. And so I think the matter of just knowing that we all are here for a purpose, and that realizing that the work that we want to put out there, the work that we want to do, it can be for others. It can be for others to see, but it's the matter of what do we want to see? Mm-hmm. And I think also the thing I've been living by too is just creating things or doing things that maybe I haven't seen before. So looking at inspo, I love Pinterest. So, I do a little Pinterest board, I do a little mood board here and there. So seeing the inspo, but then also realizing, okay, this person did this video, they did this music video, they did this film, this shoot, but what haven't I seen? And I think just really trusting and knowing okay, this person created it, they put it out on the internet, now I'm visualizing it, I'm seeing it, so you could do the same thing for others. Someone else is gonna see your work, and then they'll be like, dang, this is really dope. I'm gonna, see this inspiration and create my own. So I think it's just a matter of knowing that we're all here for a purpose, and then just really making sure that you're doing stuff for you and not just what you think others should see, but realizing that what you do is also gonna inspire others as well.
Yes. So what would you say the biggest lesson that you've learned in entrepreneurship has been?
Ooh, the biggest lesson. Yeah, that was some stank on that. Woo.
Yeah.
You have to always remember your why, because I think entrepreneurship is hard. It is definitely the road less traveled. It is.
My biggest takeaway is to market yourself. You're your own brand. Your digital footprint is everything.
Yes.
Oh my Lord. Your digital footprint is everything. Don't be out here tweaking, because they can still find it. So I Google my name a lot. Google your name and figure out what articles pop up behind it. Okay, get to know people in media to try to get more of better, articles to promote yourself. It really depends on what it is that you want to do, but I would say you guys have the biggest advantage because we have social media now. Mm-hmm. Social media is at our hands. I went to college for mass communication. Okay. So being in college in mass communication, I learned the importance of communicating to people in masses. So you got radio, you have TV, you have newspapers, but the biggest one in today's time is social media. Find a way to but in the process, don't get influenced too much by others. You can get inspiration, but do what's best for you. Figure out what is your branding, who you are as an individual, and grow through that journey. Don't try to mimic anybody else. Don't chase the algorithms, because they algorithms for a reason. They go high, they go low, but you will always stay steady. So promote yourself, grow with yourself, and that digital footprint.
Consistency, the quantity's got to be out there. Don't waste your time spending all of this time creating a quality video about a topic that was yesterday's news.
Yeah.
So you got to show up consistently.
Yeah.
Put it out. Do it scared. Try it out.
Scared.
You will improve over time. It's about a conversation. Join the conversation. See what people are talking about.
Yeah.
Because if you are dedicated to posting content that nobody is talking about, you are doing it for the love of you. Because nobody is going to see what that conversation is, because they're not involved in it. join the conversation, and get involved with trends, different things like that. But again, going back to what I said earlier, always remember your why, because this content business, these apps, it can be challenging. Even with almost 900,000 followers on TikTok, I still have videos that just be sitting at 1,000 views and it'd be like, well, why? It's not me. It's not, and I know it's not me because my content performs on other platforms. Yeah. The apps are saturated. Yeah. Everybody wants to do content now. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, you have to have that consistency. You can't post once and be like, oh, well, it didn't go viral, so I'm not doing this no more. Then this might not be the job for you, boo.
Yes. You gotta be consistent.
Consistency is key, for sure.
Yes. And I love that you said that, because I think that especially when we're first starting out in our industries, for the people that's in their early 20s, or regardless, even if you're past that, it's really hard for us to get our footing in whatever industry we're in, because we just start out. We're the rookies. We got to prove ourselves. We got to be consistent. So you talked about volunteering before and showing your dedication. But what advice would you give to that person that is putting their heart in it and they getting paid $75 and they got to make it work and it's really hard? You know what I'm saying?
So I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I'm at this space now. I've built this following of almost 2 million across all my platforms. I show up every single day. Mm-hmm. I post every day. I engage with my community. I'm answering comments. I answer some DMs because some of y'all be a little weird in the DMs. Yeah. And I work hard. I use quality content. You know, I'm not putting out crap work. I was a straight A student. Same rules apply here. And I don't always have people honor the value that I've built. Mm. You know, I still get people, oh, I give you free product. I can't pay my rent in free product, boo. That's not going to work for me. Oh, well, you should, because So take it up with my landlord, you know. So in those moments, am I frustrated? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I am 100% frustrated right now in this present moment, but I'm still smiling because I don't do it for the money. The money helps. I need the money, but I do it for the impact. Mm-hmm. And so in light of that, because your girl still got to eat, you still get creative. So this is why I dedicate so much time into always learning. Mm-hmm. Always be learning. That is incorrect English, but it sticks. Yeah. Always be learning. So I'm going to learn different tools and diversify, right? So I am just wrapping up a speaking course so that I can continue my public speaking journey in business. I have a call next week, and I've already booked 2 speaking engagements for next year. Wow. I still take clients when I need to. So I have like a photography client that's coming up. I do consulting because I study my craft. And so I help other people build their social media followings. Mm-hmm. I don't do the work for them. I teach them my formula. Yeah. I put out content, and these apps will pay if you feed the beast. Mm-hmm. And so I'm constantly studying virality and figuring out that formula and how it evolves, how it changes, how it's malleable across different platforms and stuff like that. So I'm just always adding tools to my bag so that I can be ready to make money and have my money make money for me.
Me and my dad, he does radio and TV, so me and him kind of partnered in. We have a studio in Chinatown, so I've been there all of these years. And so that's been very important. I definitely want to expand that, get a slightly bigger space. I think that's one of the main goals. I think also too, just kind of amplifying and working with a potential celebrity client, I think is definitely a goal of mine, or, working with someone in Chicago. I also want to develop it more into a production company. So not just doing photos and videos, but actually producing films and, getting people to reach out to me, say, hey, can you help me produce a film? And I think just kind of expanding to not just stay as photography, videography, graphic design, but also just kind of bridging it out a little bit more.
Like I said, you're a jack of all trades. So where do you see your content and your production company going in the future?
Oh, so big picture for me, has always been and will continue to be having a big sound stage, like think Tyler Perry Studios. Yes. And I'm producing my own content, my own shows, but I'm also producing other people's shows, being an executive producer, doing more directing. I have done directing before, loved directing. I've also been a first AD. Did not love that. I can do it, but it is difficult. But yeah, just bringing people's visions to life. I think when I was coming up, I heard the the age-old tale, oh, you know, it's a 1 in a million chance. That's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Because I came as a true millennial, I came right off the cuff of the formula was you go to school, you go to college, you get a job. And it's like that is no longer viable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not everybody is meant for college.
Yeah.
Not everybody is meant for a traditional job.
Yeah.
Some people are, and that's fine. We need postal workers.
We do.
We need people to drive. We need truckers.
Yeah.
We need, you know, farmers, because we don't have no food. We hungry over here in the States,
Okay.
you know, real food. So like we need those, but then there are creative people who feel like, oh, I got to get a job, and they're miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people are going to therapy now, because they're forced to do something that they shouldn't have been doing in the first place.
Yeah.
And so I think my intention behind all of what I do in building this conglomerate, I want to pour into that creative space, give people a place to take flight.
Yeah.
And, you know, have all of these productions. I love photography. I still take photography clients when I have time, when I'm in town, or when I'm, you know, available.
Mm-hmm.
I love capturing moments. So yeah, just continue to build that out. Have my own shows. I'm working on some scripts and different things like that.
Love that.
I would love to work with big budgets. I would love to work with big companies. But overall, if I do produce anything through Beauty Beyond the Lens, it has to be in some way or fashion towards people of color and minority groups. And then my biggest thing is too, I don't like trauma porn. I don't like to do the drug, sex, and violence with my work. I want you to look at my work and walk away feeling light, feeling happy, feeling soft. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to limit myself, but I'm noticing in the media, Black folks are only being represented a certain way, and I'm tired of that narrative. So the goal is to produce more work that changes the narrative. I want more happy Black TV, whatever that may look like. And then outside of that too, I put together different workshop series, and this is something that I've been a big advocate for because as a child coming through programs like True Star and Fresh Films Foundation, those programs literally saved my life. Mm-hmm. Those programs molded me and shaped me into who I am today, especially just as a young woman, an artist, a creative. My goal with Beauty Beyond the Lens is just to provide more workshop opportunities. So even if it's just like a once a month free workshop, just allowing free game from industry professionals. Mm-hmm. It could be something as vague as like, how do I put a script together? What is the beginning, middle, and end process of making a movie? Pre-production, production, post. The average person, they're just watching movies and don't know the hustle that go behind it. So the goal is just to provide that opportunity of all people, of all backgrounds and all ages that's like, yo, I just want to learn. How do they put this together? Mm-hmm. How is that possible?
All right, guys, there we have it. I hope that you all were taking notes from these three lovely young ladies on what it means to be successful in the film industry, because I definitely was. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This is Sullivan Grace on Empowered and Prepared as an extension of True Star Media. Let us know what you thought down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what more you want to see from us, and we'll be sure to take your feedback. This is Sullivan Grace signing out.